in the spotless stadium. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, good afternoon, Angus. Good afternoon, Angus, and yes, welcome to round one of the Tyrrell's World Championship Campdraft. And also welcome to Kate up there with you, also Angus too, for the 2016 Royal Easter Show.
Well, Jim Kellan will be with us very soon. And ladies and gentlemen, we have some very special awards, but also Tyrrell's Vineyards. They're the great sponsor. And thanks to Tyrrell's Wines. And if you're looking for a nice drop, well, you won't find anything better than Tyrrell's.
There's no doubt about that, Angus. When the camp drafters, they go for dinner tonight and do a little bit of celebrating and so forth, they'll be having that wonderful glass of Tyrrell's wine.
Well, Jimmy, camp drafting, Australia's own sport, it began many years ago out in the big stations. And it's, well, as I mentioned at S, we celebrated last year the centenary celebrations at S. Tenterfield, I believe, was the first official camp draft in Australia. And the big prize money, the very first, was Gayndah in Queensland. And since then, boy oh boy, with the Australian stock horse celebrating 45 years this year, the breed for every need, there's no better sport than Australia's own sport, camp drafting, is there?
That's right, Angus. Some magnificent horses. The competitors, everything has just gone from strength to strength over the last 15 to 25 years. It's just got bigger and bigger, and the horses have got better. And yes, it's just marvellous to see. And when everything clicks, you get the right beast and the right horse, and that's when the big scores come up with the 88s and 94s and 95s, and it's good to see.
Well, just talking about those scores, you might like to explain to all our visitors and patrons here this afternoon about how is it scored? How does camp drafting scored?
Well, Angus, in the camp where they do the cutout, that's out of a possible score of 26 points. We have two judges here for the World Championship Camp Draft for 2016. And we welcome Stephen Wells from Gundawindi in Queensland and Nigel Rippon from Casino, New South Wales. They are our two camp draft judges for this year. So one judge might give 22, the other judge might give 21, so that'll be 21 and a half out of a possible 26. It's a left-hand course for the first round, so you get 2 points for the first peg. The second peg, they do a changeover, and the second peg is taken on the right hand. You get that peg, well, that's another point for that peg, and then 1 point for what we call the gate. And there's the two closest pegs out there in front of the members' stand. So you get that peg, that's 4 out of 4 for the course, and that's what all the competitors will be looking for to get a full round course. The horse work, well, that's the control of the run, the speed of the run, and that's out of a possible score of 70 points. So nice control, fast, neat, and that's a possible score of 70 points. So 26, the 70 and the 4, that's out of a possible score of 100 points.
Very good. And Nigel Rippon. Nigel is a breeder of Australian stock horses, also quarter horses. And I know what an honour it is for him to judge here. Also, he's judged at Paradise Lagoons, where the late and the great Graham Acton. I had the great pleasure of working very closely in the very first ever camp draft at Paradise Lagoons after the Beef Expo in Rockhampton. And it's just continued on, and hopefully his son Tom is going to continue it on also in the future as well. But our judge, Nigel Rippon, he's also judged the Warwick Gold Cup, the Australian Championships, Rockhampton, the ACA National Finals, the ABCRA National Finals, and also judged at most states in Australia. So a very warm welcome to him tonight. Well, James, the first competitor tonight is going to be Alan Young. And Alan, his nickname is Bunga. He's a horse trainer, farrier, dentist, been competing for 40 years, runner-up in the ABCRA Open Ride 2009, the Hunter's Zone Open Rider 2008, 9 and 12. And his goals are to help people, train them, and get them involved in camp drafting. He's going to be riding tonight Acres Liberty Bow. Its nickname, stable name's Bozo. It's side by Acres Destiny out of the dam Jesse's Liberty Bell. It's a lovely buckskin stallion, dual registered with the Australian Quarter Horse Association, the Australian Stock Horse. So it's down to you, Jim.
Okay, thank you, Angus. Okay, and it's Alan Young with Acres Liberty Bow, and he comes around the first peg with the Hereford steer. Now comes around and looking very, very good. And Bow says, leave the footwork to me. You look after the guidance. Now comes around, he lines up, he goes over now, gets right around. Oh, and a little bit slippery in the spotless stadium here this evening, but Bow just sits back there and says, now, we'll just sit back here now. Things were going so good, but now the Hereford steer now packs up and gathers his legs again. He comes around the second peg, so he's got 3 out of 4 for the course. Now, can the tie get there before the time? Now, can he do it? Let's get ready to put our hands together, girls and boys, mums and dads. There goes the whistle. He's just run out a little bit of time, but that's 3 out of 4 for the course. We'll leave it in the hands of our judges. That was Alan Young with Acres Liberty Bow.
Hey, come on, Australia, put your hands together. Give me a big round of applause for competitor number 1, Alan Young. Next in the camp will be Glenn Peterson. He's going to be riding Kalinia Chiquita. Chiquita is his sire Vet School Cody out of the dam Kalinia Charlie, bred by Frank Coonan at Canberra, a brown mare. And a horse, it's in the Landmark Open, finished in the last 3 years, and also run up in the 2015 ABCRA Open Rider 2014. Glenn Peterson, he's a livestock buyer, 5th at the Sydney Royal Show in 2015. Warwick Gold Cup finished in the finalists in 2015, and runner-up in the ABCRA Open Rider 2014. So it's back down to Jim.
Now, score for Alan Young with Acres Liberty Bow was 21.5 for cutout, 56.5 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 81 points. 81 points there for Acres Liberty Bow, ridden by Alan Young. So now we go with Glenn Peterson with Kalinia Cheetah, livestock buyer from Cowra, New South Wales. And very, very bad luck here for Glenn Peterson. He only allowed 2 losers in the cattle camp, and the beast has just gone under the cheetah's neck, and that was twice. So no score will come up on the scoreboard there for Glenn Peterson and Kalinia Cheetah.
Well, our next competitor will be Tim Hollis, and Tim's the New South Wales Operation Manager with Livestock Link. He won the 2002 World Championship Campdraft at Sydney Royal Show, and the ABCRA Northern Zone Open Rider 2015 as well. He won that World Championships as a 17-year-old. Had wins at Warwick as well, and also he is a manager of the Regional Livestock Exchange. Adios Venus is the horse he's going to be riding. It's signed by Glen Ross Desiree out of the dam Reveille Miss. A lovely black mare, foaled back in 2001 and won the Golden Gate Open Draft 2016 at Walker. Winner of a dozen open drafts as well. And his future plans, he'd like to retire to breed at the end of the year. There you are. So, I mean, Jimmy Kellen's retired all the time. Is that right, James? No, that's not true. Back to Jim.
Okay, we go with number 3 in the draw on round 1 of the World Championship Camp Draft, and many thanks to Tyrrell's Wines for the World Championship Camp Draft for 2016. And without this wonderful line of cattle, Angus, well, this event would not take place. And many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, to Rob Teague, the manager, and Scott Mitchell up there in the team. Many, many thanks. Been hand-picked these cattle for this World Championship event. So many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company there, to Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the team, and also to the Packer family. Been supplying the cattle for many, many years here for the Royal Easter Show. So many thanks there to the Packer family from Elliston Pastoral Company. So Tim Hollis now has made his selection. He brings the beast up there now towards the face of the camp, trying to for the big points. And he's out in the spotless stadium, and he's got a beautiful Hereford running steer, and around into the shade around the first peg, and Tim Hollis with Adios Venus. Now he says, now we'll just do a changeover. Venus says, well, leave the footwork to me. You just look after the controls there. Now the Hereford steer says, this is a lovely arena, beautiful, soft going. He says, I'll just duck out here a little bit. And he says, getting a little bit wide out. And Tim says, we'll move up here and we'll turn back down here towards the second peg. Now Tim Hollis with Adios Venus. He just sits in behind the Hereford steer there. He said, this is a lovely canter around out here this evening. He comes around, he's got 2 out of 4, he's got 3 out of 4. He crosses the line. Now can he make it? There goes the whistle. So he's just run a little bit time out. So, and he just puts it through the gate to make sure that Ken go through there. But that was Tim Hollis with Adios Venus, number 3 in the draw.
Well, our next competitor will be Hugh Miles, making his way to the camp. He'll be riding Peel Vale Wishes. And Wishes is side by Conductor out of the dam Oaks Future, foaled in 2006. Lovely chestnut mare, and we'll find out more about. He's a great personality, had great success in the World Championships. We'll go down to Jim for a score for our last competitor.
Tim Hollis with Adios Venus scored 22 for cutout, 54 for horsework, 3 out of 4 for the course, a total of 79 points, 7-9 for Adios Venus, ridden by Tim Hollis.
Well, James, this combination, major title one, was Gundawindi Pocket Watch Open, and his performance history, Wishes is a multiple Campdraft Open winning mare, finalist at Paradise Lagoons, Warwick Canning Downs Draft, and won many other events. So it's down to Jim.
So Hugh Miles from Tamworth with Wishes, horse trainer. He's about to make his selection of one of these wonderful Hereford steers. And once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company. He makes his selection. And Wishes comes up, says, now just wish to let us out in the spotless stadium. Calls for the gate. Out into the spotless stadium he comes. Hugh Miles from Tamworth with Wishes. And he's got himself a fast one here on round number 1 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Campdraft. And round the first peg they come, and Wishes moves up a little closer to the beast. Now they do the changeover, the flying change, and moves around onto the beast there now. Camp drafting here nice and neat around the second peg. Hugh Miles and Wishes. And Hugh Miles says, I just wish now I can line the gate up. Now come on, girls and boys, mums and dad. I think he's got the time. He goes over there. Can he get the beast down between the 2 pegs for a full round course? It's looking good, and Wishes has got it. Hugh Miles with Wishes. It'll be 4 out of 4 for the course, and we'll have a score for you very shortly.
Well, our next competitor will be Wade Miles. He's riding Green Vale Request. He's a trainee stock and station agent at the Landmark at Scone. He was 4th in the RAS draft in 2015. Had success for the Hunter's Own Juvenile Rider and the Hunter's Own Most Successful Rider 2014. Green Vale Request, side by Adios Reflect out of the dam Breezer Mist. A lovely black mare foaled in 2003. Back to Jim.
Okay, now score coming through here now for Hugh Miles with Wishes was 21 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, for a great score of 88 points. 88 points for Wishes, ridden by Hugh Miles.
So come on, Australia, put your hands together. 88 out of possible 100. That's a great score. Thanks, James.
Okay, now we go with the Wade Miles from Scone with Request. Yeah, stock and station agent with the Landmark Townsend in Scone, and he's out in the spotless stadium arena and comes around now. He's going to make things, he's going to tighten it right up. And look here now, Request and Wade Miles out into the big arena they come, and he's going to try and do the same on the second peg. And Request right up there and just gives the Hereford steer just a little bit of a bump. That's Camp Drafting at his best. Now comes around and he's going to do the same again. Looking very good here now for Wade Miles with Request. Can he get it around? Come on, girls and boys, mums and dads. I think he can. It's looking pretty good. Wade Miles with Request.
Well, the next competitor will be Neil Faint, and he's going to be riding Turner's Stud Flirt. And Neil Faint, Neil's had a lot of success in camp drafting, and we certainly wish him well here tonight. To let you know more about Neil and bring you up to date with Wade Miles, it's back down to Jim.
Okay, a score just coming through now for Wade Miles and Request. And it was a score of 21 for cutout, 65 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course. Top score now of 90 points, 9-0 for and Wade Miles. So now we move on to number 6 in the draw. This is Neil Faint with Flirt from Tamworth. He ran second last year overall in the World Championship Camp Draft. And Neil Faint from Tamworth, he makes his selection. Just can't get his mate to leave his other Hereford friend up here, but now he does. No, he says, no, I just duck back up here, but now he does a good bit of horse work there. Makes his selection. Flirt goes across there, blocks the beast up again. Number 6 now, Neil Faint from Tamworth, New South Wales with Flirt. And look at the grey pony now, right, this is camp drafting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, right up on the beast's shoulder. He just sits back. Now Flirt comes around. Can they get it down? No, he's just going to come in the top side of the first peg and locks onto the beast, but it's going to be out of bounds, I think. There goes the Australian stock whips from our two judges there, Nigel Rippon and Stephen Wells. So out of bounds, so unfortunately be a cutout score there only for Neil Faint and Flirt.
Well, our seventh competitor tonight will be Mark Palmer, riding Palmer's El Condo. And Mark Palmer, what an unbelievable career he's had, competing at shows a number of years, drafting, rodeo, polo, stock horses, won 3 World Championship drafts, won the family draft on 4 occasions, won New South Wales Australian Rodeo Challenge numerous times, loved to win a Gold Cup. He's going to be riding Palmer's El Condo signed by Hazelwood Coleman. We'll get a score from Jim. Thanks, Jim.
Okay, now a score for Neil Faint and Flirt was 18.5 points for Neil Faint and Flirt, 18.5 points. Okay, out in the Spotless Stadium now, Mark Palmer with El Condo from Crindai, New South Wales, and around the first peg. And look on here, boys and girls, mums and dads, they do the changeover. He's going to tighten things up around the second peg. Oh, beautiful bit of horsework here, right around. This is Campdrafting at his best. Champagne Campdrafting you're seeing, boys and girls, mums and dads. Now, come on, get those hands all warmed up. I think he can. It's looking pretty good. El Condo, Mark Palmer. Yes, they've got 4 out of 4, have they? Yes, they have. And we'll see what the judges come up here with a great score there. Magnificent camp drafting. Once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company, to Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell, and the team up there hand-picked these cattle for the Royal Easter Show. And many, many thanks over the years to the Packer family.
And our next competitor will be Simone Harvey, riding Peel Vale Chain, number 8 out of the 15 competitors. And Simone Harvey, a teacher at Tokal Agricultural College for Certificate 3 in horse breeding course, and has been competing since the age of 13, runner-up in the ABCRA Lady Rider 2007, 08, and 2010, winner of the ABCRA Lady Rider title 2005. What a great career she's had. And Peel Vale Jane, side by conductor out of Oaks Alley, and his lovely brown mare foaled in 2005. Back down to Jim.
Okay, and our score for Mark Palmer and El Condo was 20 for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points for El Condo, ridden by Mark Palmer. So Simone Harvey now with Peel Vale Jane and Simone Harvey. They come out into the Spotless Stadium and they move over into the shaded area. And things, he just said, I'll sit up here. He says, I'll come back out here into the sunlight. Simone Harvey and Jane, they come back around into the, between the two pegs. There's ducks and dives in around there. The beast just not happy to run over into the shaded area at the moment. And there goes the stock whips. So unfortunately, there'll be only a cutout score there for Simone Harvey and Peel Vale Jane.
Well, next to the camp is Nigel Cable, and Nigel's a cattleman, started drafting at 7 years of age. He's won his first open camp draft at 14, and he's won over 205 open drafts, riding Chevron Ivory. What an unbelievable horse combination. And side by Lindsay out of Chevron Ebony, a lovely black stallion, Australian stock horse. And the list goes on. Warwick Gold Cup, Canning Downs Warwick, 3 Warwick Stallion drafts, 2 Paradise Lagoons. Just an unbelievable combination. Back down to Jim.
Score there for Simone Harvey and Jane was 17 points. 17 points for Simone Harvey riding Peel Vale Jane. And here we go, number 9 now, Nigel Cable with Chevron Ivory. And the horse has been there and done everything. And this horse a couple of years ago was inducted into the Australian Stock Horse Hall of Fame. This has been an absolutely magnificent combination. Nigel Cable and the great Australian stock horse stallion Chevron Ivory, and around the second peg he's got 3 out of 4 for the course. And girls and boys, mums and dads, I think that Nigel Cable, the eyesight looks 100%. Can they do it? It's looking very, very good. Put your hands together, Sydney. Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivory.
Unbelievable combination, James, I'll tell you. Ben McNaughton next in the Ranch Tiptoe. And Ben McNaughton, a station hand at St Albans. He won the Landmark Classic in 2013, won the Chinchilla Camp Draft Clock 2014. Tiptoe won the Novice Horse of the Year 2015. Bred and rides his own horses. And the Ranch Tiptoe, side by Knights, topped that out of the Ranch Snickers of Bay Gelding, foaled in 2009. Australian stock horse. Back down to Jim.
Nigel Cable with Chevron Ivory scored 23 for cutout. 63.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 90.5 points. 90.5 points for Chevron Ivory, ridden by Nigel Cable. We go with number 10 now, Ben McNaughton from Walker, New South Wales, the station manager with the ranch Tiptoes, and they tiptoe out into the Spotless Stadium, and around the first peg they come, and Ben McNaughton, the beast just looked at that peg there, but Tiptoes had it all under control. Now comes around now, they tiptoe now towards the gate. Now come on, can they get it around? Come on, girls and boys, mums and dads, can they do it? Tiptoes, Tiptoes, yes, they're going to straight down the middle of the gate, and that was Ben McNaughton riding the ranch's Tiptoes.
Well, Jim, our next competitor will be at number 11. It's our 11th competitor, Troy Palmer, riding Benny Impressive Destiny. And what a combination they've been to. Competed in Campdraft for 34 years. A 2 times winner of the World Championship Campdraft, winner of the ABCRA Campdraft Horse and Rider titles, I think about 18 times. Place getter numerous times at Warwick Gold Cup as well. And just an unbelievable combination about to go into the camp now. Back down to you, Jim.
Okay, and a score coming through there now for Ben McNaughton with Tiptoes. It was a score of 20.5 for cutout, 63.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 88 points. 88 points for Tiptoes and Ben McNaughton. So now we're going on now with Troy Palmer with Benny Impressive Destiny from Coolah, New South Wales. And what a great combination here. They've travelled the country, and there's not too many things they haven't won, from the Campdraft Arena to the Australian Stock Horse Arena. The great combination, Troy Palmer, an ID that he's very well known as. Number 11 in round 1 of the Tyrrell's World Championship Campdraft. He makes his selection. Comes up towards the face of the camp, going for the big points. He calls for the gate. He steps out into the Spotless Stadium here this evening on round 1 of the World Championship Campdraft. Brought to you with the Commons of Tyrrells. And look at Benny Impressive Destiny. He gets right down on the ground, and around the first peg they come. Now Troy just says, we'll sit back here and wait. And ID says, you just tell me when you want me to go and ride around onto the beast. This is Campdrafting at its best here. ID and Troy Palmer. Benny Impressive Destiny. Come on, girls and boys, I think we might have to do it again. ID says, yes, we can. Troy Palmer says, yes, I think I can get there. ID, he's done it again, and puts it straight through the middle of the gate.
Well, folks, you're certainly seeing the best of Campdrafting tonight as we welcome in our 12th competitor is Al Sullivan, riding Voodoo. Competed at the Campdraft since the age of 8. And now travels and competes with his wife Kate and also his son Joe. Multiple open draft and also cutout winner, zone rider titles of Warwick Gold Cup, Paradise Lagoons, multiple ABCRA finalists as well. And he's going to be riding Voodoo, side by Acres Destiny, out of the dam Monkeys Creek Fable, a black stallion foaled in 2002. Back to Jim.
Okay, and our score now for Troy Palmer with Benny Impressive Destiny was 18 for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, a total of 85 points. 85 points for Benny Impressive Destiny, ridden by Troy Palmer. So number 12 now, Al Sutherland from Manila, New South Wales, with Voodoo. And Alan Sullivan looking to make his selection, which he does, of one of these magnificent Hereford steers. Once again, many thanks to Elliston Pastoral Company and to the Packer family for many, many years of support for the World Championship Campdraft here at the Royal Easter Show. And here is Voodoo and Al Sutherland out in the Spotless Stadium and around the first peg, and Voodoo says, oh gee, feels good out here. And around the first peg they come at about 75 kilometres an hour. They do the changeover, and Voodoo said, just set up here, and just cuts away there right at the last minute, and he slipped away there from under Voodoo's neck. And that'll be a lost beast, and the stock whips are gone, and there'll be a cutout score there only for Voodoo, ridden by Al Sullivan.
Hey, come on, Australia, put your hands together. Give him a nice big round of applause. Al Sullivan and Voodoo, as we welcome number 13, Warwick Lawrence, riding Cedar Downs Limited Edition. He's a horse course teacher at Tokel College, 2015 ABCRA Most Successful Rider, 2009 ABCRA Most Successful Rider, 2014 also great success, in 2008 World Championship Campdraft winner. Limited edition, known as Libby, and it's had great success with Kerala Catalina was the sire out of Oaks Finesse the Dam. Chestnut Mare, foaled in 2006, is back to Jim.
22 points there for Voodoo, ridden by Al Sutherland, 22 points. Warwick Lawrence now, number 13, with limited edition from Maitland, New South Wales. Around the first peg, they're gone. Around the second peg, limited edition now. Says, we'll just sit back here, let that beast run on a little. Now he says, we'll go there, do the changeover. He says, now I think Warwick, and says, come on, let's go. It's looking pretty good for Warwick Lawrence with limited edition. It's looking real good now. Come on, girls and boys, mums and dads. Champagne camp drafting. Warwick Lawrence with limited edition.
Well, and his competitor is number 14 of the 15 competing, Matty Holtz, riding Nevlin Archer. Matt Holtz, he's a horse trainer and very successful in the Australian Stock Horse Nationals in Futurity and Maturity, 2015 Landmark Classic win. In the Open Landmark in 2016, first and second. He's also, this lovely horse he's riding, his stable name is Fat Boy, side by Neville and Joseph out of Marchdale Quiver. A lovely bay gelding. It's back down to Jim.
Yeah, we just got a score coming through here now, with the adding the two scores up from our two judges, Stephen Wells and Nigel Rippon. And the score is 22 for cutout, 62.5 for horsework, 4 out of 4 for the course, with a score of 88.5 points. 88.5 points for limited edition, ridden by Warwick Lawrence. Number 14 now, Matt Holtz with Archer. From Gippsland in Victoria, first time here drafting at the World Championship Camp Draft here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show, and it goes across the Spotless Stadium. And there goes the Australian stock whips, just a little bit out of bounds, our two judges think. So there goes the whips. So unfortunately, there'll be only a cutout score there for Archer, ridden by Matt Holtz.
And also, too, his parents are here tonight. They are just wonderful people involved in the Stock Horse Society. A former chairman of the Australian Stock Horse Society, too, Mr. Neville Holtz. Well, the next competitor, Ben Tapp. Ben's a pastoralist, a horse and cattle, competed his first draft at the age of 11 at Catherine Show in the Northern Territory. He also is 2012 Warwick Gold Cup on Cool Dust winner, 2015 Warwick Gold Cup Acres of Roses winner, Canning Downs Aggregate Open Rider. He has done the lot. Cool Dust, decided by Warren Bride Romeo out of Oak Stardust. Lovely pay mare, foaled in 2010, back down to Jim.
17.5 points there for Archer, ridden by Matt Holtz. 17.5 points. Final competitor now, number 15. And we'll see what our judges do here. Now, the whips are gone, so we'll just see. Our two judges will probably confer here. And we'll see whether they say that he's entitled to a rerun or whatever. But our two judges will come together. Nigel Rippon and Stephen Wells. Yes, Angus, and as you just said there, done a great deal for the Australian Stock Horse Society and past chairman, Neville Holtz, and welcome Neville and your wife Lynn, and great to see you here for the Royal Easter Show 2016.
He's certainly one of the nicest gentlemen I've ever met in my life, and boy, Jim, what a combination they are. This we see with Ben Tapp here tonight, and of course, well, Warwick. He's really had enormous success up there, and Cool Dust has won over 50 open drafts, James.
Yes, a magnificent combination here, Angus. Ben Tapp with Cool Dust. He's won 2 out of the last 4 years Gold Cups, and now the Warwick Gold Cup, well, that is like winning the Melbourne Cup. It is the Melbourne Cup of camp drafting, the Gold Cup, and Ben Tapp has won 2 out of the last 4 years.
And I'd say too, Jim, Katie Day will be down there somewhere swinging from the ceilings. She gets so excited in camp drafting. So good on you, Katie Day. I can see her down there watching the draft down in front of the members stand. She loves camp drafting. Thanks, James.
Well, she's not the only one that loves the great Australian sport of camp drafting. But she certainly picked the right sport anyhow, Angus. So number 15 now, our final competitor in round 1, Ben Tapp from Warwick in Queensland. Now he's about to make his selection. He does so. And Cool Dust says, yeah, it looks pretty good to me, Ben. Let's see what we can do here. And he calls for the gate. And he's out in the Spotless Stadium. This is Ben Tapp. And he's got himself a very fast one, and across the Spotless Stadium he goes, and heading towards the Royal Easter Show, Sydney Royal Stand, and there goes the Australian stock whip. So give you a nice big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the way from Queensland, Ben Tapp with Cool Dust, our final competitor, and we have a cutout score coming through for you of 21.5 points. 21.5 points for Cool Dust, ridden by Ben Tapp.
Well, James, wonderful camp drafting tonight. Boy, and unofficially, I think our highest score went to Nigel Cable and Chevron Ivy, but we'll check that with Jim. Good to see Dion Williams down there watching camp drafting, and Dion Williams would be good for to see Dion to take up camp drafting instead of show dumping. But anyway, you never know. So, James, thanks to Tyrrell's Wines for being a great sponsor. We say thank you to them.
Yes, Angus, and also once again, many thanks. There was champagne camp drafting there. You look at the scoreboard, there were some magnificent runs. Once again, without cattle, there is no camp drafting event. Many thanks there to Elliston Pastoral Company, to management up there, Rob Teague and Scott Mitchell and the team from Elliston, and also many, many thanks to the Packer family for a line of magnificent of the Hereford steers. So we're just getting the official placings here with our stewards, our chief steward, Mr. Rob Vickery, Mr. Dick Out and Mr. Peter Eggleston, just doing the paperwork. And night number one.
Ribbons are there.
And winning night number one will go to Nigel Cable with Chevron Ivory with 90.5 points. Second place will go to Wade Miles with Request on a score of 90 points. Third place will go to Warwick Lawrence with Limited Edition on 88.5 points.
That's equal for.
And equal fourth will be Hugh Miles with Wishes. Mark Palmer and El Condo, and Ben McNaughton with Tiptoes. All on 88 points. So just doing the presentations of round one of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft. Our Chief Steward, Mr. Rob Vickery. Well, Nigel Cable, what do you do outside the Camp Draft arena, Nigel, when you're not riding horses?
Ride young ones at home.
Well, that's the foundation of things, I suppose, Nigel. I hope you're breeding some horses by Chevron Ivory, because he's been inducted to the Australian Stock Horse Hall of Fame. He just goes on. He's getting like a bottle of Tyrrell's wine. He's getting better with age. I don't know about you, whether you're getting better with age, but you're very consistent. But it's a great thing to come here to the Royal Easter Show and set off things round one on a great score on round number one.
Yeah,
all right,
we've got a truckload of them by Ivory, all the kids and
thanks for all your help. Lovely to see you both.
And yeah, it's good to get.
How's Brad? Brad going well?
First night and
You're
get up. Yeah.
one of my favourite men in my life. Your brother.
Nigel, how long have you been camp drafting for?
I remember the day that Henry Ashcroft died at Brisbane.
I don't know, about 30 or 43 years, I suppose.
Nigel, is it getting, you think the sport's got stronger in the last 10 or 15 years, like the horses and the riding ability of some of the real good competitors?
Yeah, definitely the standards lifted out of sight, and there's a lot of good trainers and people running clinics now to train people and show people how to prepare their horses. And the horses, to be competitive, you've just got to lift it all the time, and there's that many good quality horses around there and people wanting to be competitive.
And like you just said, horse trainers, camp draft schools, it's only making the sport getting more professional and getting bigger and stronger.
Yeah, and it's there for everybody, from the kids from 8 years of age and even younger in the cutouts, right through till you're 80 or whenever you want to keep riding. It's just such a family sport, and everybody encourages everybody to be in it.
Congratulations, Nigel, to you and Ivory, and wish you luck for the remaining 5 rounds.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Angus. They are the winner and place getters of round one of the Tyrrell's World Championship Camp Draft.
James, unbelievable. Just an incredible night of camp drafting. You won't see much better than that anywhere in Australia. So congratulations to everyone.
Yes, Angus, and when you get a magnificent line of cattle like we saw there tonight, the one line of the Hereford cattle, and so well handled. They've been so well broken in and handled at home with dogs and horses. So once again, many thanks there to Tyrrell's Winery and also to Elliston Pastoral Company, to Rob Teague, Scott Mitchell and the team up there, hand-picked those cattle, and once again, many thanks to the Packer family. Thank you, Angus, and we'll cross back up to you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Jim Kelton. So it's lovely to work with Jim. Jim is the stock and station agent at Scone, New South Wales, and does a lot of presentation for the Australian Stock Horse Society. The breed for every need. And Jim will be up at the national finals at ALEC coming up in May as well. So as they prayed out